Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of SnowTown here in City Skylines. Well guys, last episode I actually turned off despawn mode and it didn't go as bad as I thought it would. I've renamed it again and I've changed a few things because we're having a few issues that are unrelated to anything we've ever seen in City Skyline before. And that is, no matter what I do, I can't seem to satisfy the industrial or commercial demand. Now, I kind of put two and two together, and we've had the super mod, or the super demand mod enabled for quite some time right now, which artificially inflates demands and growth. Now, what I've done is I've turned it off because artificially, this is another problem as well. Oh my goodness me. Artificially, the commercial is through the roof. Industrial is through the roof. And together, they are just, every time they die off, when they're meant to die off because there's no demand, the super demand mod grows them again. Is this plane okay reversing into the sea right now? What is going on in this city right now? So I've turned it off and I'm going to let the city naturally correct itself, naturally die. You can already see, since I've loaded it up, this industrial area right now is not complaining. So I've got it off and it's going to rectify itself. So all these commercial buildings that are complaining there's not enough goods to sell, you can see once they eventually go out of business and die, you can see then we start to get little gaps appearing because they can't regenerate because we have no commercial demand. So I feel like we need to give our city a little bit of a lifeline and for it to kind of reinvigorate itself and kind of get it back up and running. So that's what we're going to do this episode with the super demand mod. I don't think I'll re-enable it now until I do like really big building projects or something like that. But it'll be nice to see officially where our city stands once it's kind of gone back to normal. Now, my next thing is I turned the despawn mode off again because now that I can see where some of the issues lay, we can kind of fix them. But the big one was what we had is vehicles were entering the region, turning around and then going back out. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going down. I kind of tried to add all these little turn off points where it worked for some, but ultimately not for everybody. And I was trying to figure out, is there a certain length of distance that they need to travel in before they can turn around? And turns out, a couple of you guys in the comment section said, Seniac, if they come in on a singular road, meaning, you know, this is a singular road, because what we normally would do, what we normally would have is two highways, then they want to exit on the same road. And I thought, is that true? Well, I don't fully know, but we're going to find out today. Now, there's two ways in which I can do it. Right, let me first get rid of this extra road that I kind of built and placed in. So, if the logic is, right, that they want to, if they enter on one road that they can exit on, they want to exit on that same road. So, they'll just literally find the closest point which they can turn around on, and then off they shebang. So, what they're doing right now is they're all entering. And because this is the point where they can do a little bit of a UE, they turn around here and then they go back out, which is not good for us. It's not good for us. So let me find a vehicle that is exiting the region. They're going to show. There's going to be nobody now, isn't there? There's literally going to be nobody who wants to do it. How dare you right now, guys? How dare nobody want to exit the region? Why are they doing this to me? Oh, there we go, leaving the city. So that's what they're doing. They're going up and then round and back down, which was causing unnecessary issues for my roundabout because we got this set up and it means everybody coming down here wanting to exit had to wait for everybody to go around the roundabout, which was kind of annoying for them. So there's two ways I can do this. I could either build a roundabout early on to allow them to turn around and go back. Or my next thought is, rather than have a singular road, I want to try this method first. What if, right, and we'll go to the highway, this type of, what type of road should I do? Should I just do like a highway ramp? What if I did it like this? Does that technically mean there's not a single lane or single road that they're coming on? It's two separate lanes, as if you were building the same type of road with a highway? And then we just make sure that, shabam, we do that. Because my thought process is, right, let's take this, for example, this highway road. two separate roads that they come in and out on. Now, if these guys all coming in wanted to leave the city, the logical thing, based on what they were doing on the other side, was to find the nearest point where they can turn around and then go straight back out. Now, for these guys, the closest point to turn around would be this turn-off junction here. So with that logic, they will turn off here, go back up and exit, because for them that would be the quickest route out of the city from where they entered. Now, if that is the case, people turning off here should then ultimately turn back up to go that way. Now, this vehicle has just turned off. Where are you going? Straight ahead. There is a bunch of vehicles here right now, which none of them are exiting the region just yet. So I haven't seen anything just yet that indicates that they're exiting. So we're keeping an eye on all these guys now turning. So all of these now turning. It's up to this point. So if any of them do a left, we know that they're exiting, which none of them are, apart from you. But you're a police officer, and you are responding to a call over here. So a lot of them, if they do make their left-hand turn, are also going down that underground tunnel. So with that logic then, if none of them do that, then it's because they came in on separate roads. So again, applying that logic to over here, if they come in on separate roads, it should then, well, hopefully remove the need for them to go all the way up and round, because that logic has now disappeared. Right? Right, guys? I don't know. I don't know. I can only judge it by the traffic changes, and straight away, this road has got a whole lot quieter. You can see that straight away, can't you? So if I apply that same logic to over here, because the same thing's happening here on this road. They're using this as the turning point. Now, again, with that logic thrown in, I'm going to keep this road in here because I still don't know what I'm doing with it. And we do the same thing here. So, boom to boom, in and out. And then just see what happens, right? So we got the people coming in as normal. They're going to take a while till they can figure out what's going on anymore. But if I don't then see this huge backlog of vehicles turning around, they're all now disappeared. Because when they were waiting to originally turn off, they're now all gone straight ahead. Because, oh, I think that, well, then again, that's an indication that it works, right? You might still get a few odd people who are doing it, who were like halfway up the road, who are sorting their routes out. But is that the fix? Is that really the fix? And was that really the issue? Because they were coming in on a singular road? Oh my... Right. Now what... If that is the problem, and we've just fixed it, hallelujah, right? But, when I think back to my previous series, the biggest one that comes to mind is Fishtown. And I had a singular road that exited the region, and we had that issue, and all I did was create like a little overpass loop and just kind of forgot about it. Your boy just learned something today. Right, have we implemented that issue anywhere else? I don't believe we have. There's no other exit roads apart from up here, but they're just normal 2-lane roads exiting. If that's the reason, then holy macaroni, boys. Holy macaroni. Which is actually quite... I don't know whether I'm quite underwhelmed by it, because it seems quite so simple, but it also, I feel like the developers like, yo, what's going on? Fix that. And 2, this area used to hustle and bustle, and now it's gone completely dead. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Oh, steady acudab folio. But that's good, though, because it puts unnecessary pressure on our fishing industry, and we can relax. We can now relax. As we now slowly watch our commercial industry die down. So look at all these gaps that are now happening. But which is good though, because it will give us an accurate representation of where this city currently is. And then once all the commercial dies out, then it will start to rebuild itself slowly with the demands. And we can find a proper level playing field. Right, I did want to have an episode where we completely redo all of these train lines and stuff like that. And is today the day? Ooh, it's a tough one. Now, currently, I'm going to get rid of this additional train track here. Because we don't need it. We don't need it. We've got a sort of better method for this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete also that additional line there. Because we're overcomplicating it by doing it like this. We really are overcomplicating things. So goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. There we go. And you can class that as being the little triangle piece there. But it's still not perfect. We'll get it in just a moment. So if they're both still coming into at this point, we've got to create a much better setup for us. So first things first, then I'm going to pause, and we're going to get rid of all this. Get rid of where that kind of connects, because again, it's not needed the way it does it. Right, get rid of all of you to there. And we keep things simple, boys. Keep it simple. So if I bring that to here, and where does the bend take place? A 12 by 12. And why can't you connect? There you go, now you connect. So simple bypass there. Well, not a bypass, but that's how the train track is then going to go. Then from this point here, which just simply comes over to there, I've got two options in which I can do it. I could have a V that happens here and it bends up and goes round and over. Or I can make it happen a little bit further down here. Now the reason that I probably want to do it over here is because it'll be a bit too close to this connection right now. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. So if I brought this train track over to this point, and then under here, if I do a, because this has all got to stay the same size. Why is that elevated? Oh no, wait, yeah, I better say, why is that elevated? Because it's elevated there, you damn fool. Right, so if I bring this out to there by, and it's actually got to be quite long, hasn't it? Well, that's quite a big stretch, isn't it? Do you know what? It's actually bigger than I thought it would be, some of these turn-off points. So, if I went here with this one... Oh, that's actually quite difficult. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to select... Because these are elevated over here. So if I select going along at this point to there, it to slope a little bit more. So we're coming down a bit more. And I think it would be better if I brought the train track a little bit closer to the road, so I get a little bit more of a push back in length. So delete this. Delete this. Alright, delete you. Just to there. We'll sort it out in just a minute. Now this train track here, we'll bring it up by 10. So if I bring it to there... And then I do 11 by 11. Well, actually, no. I just realised we're coming a little bit further away, aren't we? So if I add a key that just for a hot minute, bring that to there. And then we'll create the bend here. Nice and easy, nice and simple. By 11. Boom. Standard issue, mate. Standard issue. So that happens there then, which does mean I could technically pull that back a bit, but I can play around with that in just a moment. So here, what we want to do is we want to create a 21, and that would be a 21 here, but it's not entirely going to sit right. So if I push that to there, 21. So we then have our little V. But we're kind of all angling in the wrong direction. But that's not a problem. We'll keep this planted so I can just then ultimately see the lengths that we're going to. So if I do an 8 by 8. A 8. Alright, by 7, just for the sake of it. It will bend round and then... Where is... that pointer? So if I do 11, Where am I hitting it from? There. So bring in that just over enough. So a 12. So it is quite elaborate, and I don't need to go to these extreme lengths. I don't need to go to these extreme lengths to do something like this. But I'm trying to kind of separate it from the connection that's going to be so close to it. So it goes up or down. We'll sort this out right now. So I don't want to select the trees. Select everything from that point there. And then can we... No. I always have this issue. I remember someone telling me what the reason was for it. And I can't remember what it was. Right, what I'll do is set to object height of boom. There we go. Do you know, I actually kind of like the idea of that, kind of like digging into the like the kind of hill edge there, and then skedaddling round. But I ain't doing too much with it or anything like that. I ain't going OTT. I'm not going to make it amazingly beautiful. I just want to, for the most part right now, just kind of make it semi-functional. So we have a decent connection there. So you can go straight over this way. Has a proper connection. And it also has the ability for the trains to wait for their turn to make their move. Now, the same thing needs to happen over here. Now, at the minute, we have this slight, well, I won't call it a slight issue. It's very funky what is going on right now. Very funky what is going on. So we are going to try and do something with this. So what I'm thinking of doing is this little household plastic thingy-majig. We'll move this to... Right, can I move it to... I'm just going to throw it in over here. It's got water and power, right? Water, power, yeah. Reason being is we have technically 2 tracks that we want to connect to. And that sharp corner that it does, not working out for us. So what I think I'm going to do, because this is the main track that I want to connect it to. So if I bring that up to there, I want to kind of overpass this. So if I brought that to there, bend it round and then to connect in. That makes sense? So if I bring it up just a tad bit more, I'm going to bring it by 6 there. Now, I know all the heights and angles are going to be all over the place. If I do a 7 by 7, right, I'll have to anarchy all of this for a minute, just to get it to all kind of work. By 7. Then I'll do another 7 by 7. That becomes an 8, which I'll take the 8. 8 by 8. And then connects down. So a little bit elaborate, but it's a more smoother transition to change the elevation and don't have to then do a crazy drop right-hand turn, which I can then lead to having the connection. Right, we'll bring it, say, to... Well, I got to bring it a little bit longer. So if I do 20 there, then and that's 25 in distance, so I know at least we can have a train length there. So if I select all these then, and we'll try and do then a sloped system to go around it. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I don't know. So it does work. I just got to change some of the approach of this. Got to smoothen some of that as well. Not quite sure what happened here. Oh, it's because I didn't select the bottom, did I? Nope. No, 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 no. Can you... There we go. It's as good as, right? It's as good as. Okay, right. So I'm going to up the brush size just slightly here. Smoothen this out. Push it back slightly if we can. Right, just push it back a bit more. Just so it looks so silly with what we've done. How's that look? Okay, it's not too bad. I'll take it. It's not the perfect slope, but I'm not worried about it too much just yet. But But that does what it needs to do. And by having that as the turn-off point to get into this train station shows us that the outer bypass that goes past it is the shortened route. Now, I need to then get this train track here, right, which will bring to there. Oh, hold on. I had the wrong mode selected. To connect to here. So where would that kind of happen, take place? 7 by 7. A lot of 7s in this episode, isn't there? And that does exactly what I need it to do. Sweet. Okay. So now then, what we got to think about is, I need, after this point then, a 20, roughly around about 21. So if I do a 17 by 5, that becomes 22 on the distance. I should have done the same thing here because it's slightly a little bit over, isn't it? So if I do a 17, oh, I have to anarchy that in, and a 5, boom, that becomes 22, if my maths are correct, which means we have a full train's length before and after the actual train stop for a train to wait before it approaches the platform. Good. So then, when you logistically think about it, we have our junction here, we have a crossover point there. So whatever junction we place in here needs to make sure that we have enough space between these two for a middle one. So if any trains are coming, they're also playing the waiting game, which can become a little bit tricky. So let's say if I give enough buffer space there, so we know that there is enough space. I'm just doing it on the straight parts. That there's enough space, so I need it within this section here. So I could do the same thing I've done over there. I could create a little V, spin it around over here, and then make it go down and connect to there. But then we might have to do something a little bit different for these two because they're way too close on the connection. So let's just see what we can come up with first anyway. So even though we have that distance here, I can use or bring this a little bit further back. So I'm going to kind of take it from there, and I'm going to do a 21 there, and we're going to push it up slightly to then get our 21 just there. Sweet. So many hill climbs we're doing right now. So here I'm going to do an 8 by 8 because we are going slightly uphill. So 8 by 8, I'm going to have to anarchy it in just to get it to work. And then this, going forward, I'm going to page it up to then by 10. And then bring, oh wow, that was perfect. Oh my goodness me. That was weirdly perfect. Right, that will never be able, I didn't even measure it. I was expecting myself to be, well, having to change the train tracks on the other side, but that was strangely glorious. There we go. That's a little bit better, but I will drop this one down and this one a tad bit. Right, okay. So again, I like the idea it carves through, but I've got to play around with the smoothing tool. I've got to do it on this one as well. So idea would be just to slightly push this back a bit. Same thing over here, so we can do more of a gradual drop when it comes to the smoothing of it. So we smoothen the top first before we bring it down to the bottom. And bring that slightly out. Smoothen that bit. Let me just sort this bit out here as well. Smooth it. And then, see, it looks a little bit better. It still looks like we've carved out the hillside for the train track. And that's the effect that we want. But we don't want it to look unnatural in many ways. So I delete these excess bits of train track then. Let me just get the power supply all connected back up. I know it's a bit funky as it goes across the train tracks. you know what? It's very funky as it goes to train. Why is it going to... What? Hang on. Why have I got it over here anyway? What is the issue? So that is because... Right. Okay, let me redo this. It's an issue I don't think we need. So I know it's because we got to test the Gigafactory over here. So I could very easily do a connection like that to bring the power over to here, which then eliminates the need for any of these power wires right now. There we go, because they're all now connected. They're connected by that, which is connected by, yeah, it's all connected. I just need then this to get over to here, and then ta-da, less wires. Nice. So they're done then. I'm gonna have waiting areas, and it's long enough that hopefully the kind of backlog of trains that are coming in should semi keep it clear. And then my issue then is these guys, because of how close they are. So what I'm thinking of doing is, right, is maybe potentially changing what happens here, because it does look very unnatural. Very unnatural right now, some of these movements. So what if I reposition this to maybe... See, if I did it there, it could work. In reality, I shouldn't really have them here, should I? In reality. So we have our subway line there, which we kind of need for the transition. If I had... Well, we need a path. Well, yeah, we need a free... Hold on. Because this area is not really configured that well. It will be extending more industrial, and we eventually move all these little snow dumps as time goes on. In terms of roads, I should really be placing them in a little bit kind of... Not out the way, but... If I go by 10 here, and if I then go by a 15, by 15 bend, and then made that go straight for a bit, I should have it here, shouldn't I? Or at least here on this side, or something like that, just to take away some of the pressures of that. So if I do the... Now, this is the problem. This is the problem. You know what? Thinking about it right now, I don't think it's going to work as well. I just literally don't think it's going to work as well. I don't think this is going to work. I want it, though, because it takes the edge off this exportation area. I kind of need the cargo thingy-mabob-mabooty in there. It's just when you're trying to combine two of them together is the issue. So what if I didn't use that as the road? And then what if it instead I brought this to here, and then where would that connect in? 14. Alright, by 15. We'll roll with that. Do it to that one instead so it opens up this a little bit more. But that's not to say that's going to solve the issue. It's just the train tracks crossing that road is not what I want it to do. Right, let's have a think about this then. So, we have a passenger train line that if I switched it to this side, extends the line a bit to then turn in. Or, I have it on this road. So it kind of comes round and bends a little bit more. Or my other option would be, if I never had that road there, the secondary line can run around it and then cut in. Something needs to move. And I'm trying to think, if I did a V connection, it's going to be way too big for this area. Way too big. But I do need to move this anyway. So if I move the passenger train line to, let's say, this side of the road, and if I push it right to the top, there, so it gives me a little bit more room to create the slope up to connect. I could then also right? This is something else as well I could do. Is hook up a path so they can walk in from this side of the road to get to that train station. Now if I just delete these, that bends round perfectly fine. But I'm going to delete it all anyway and just reconfigure this line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 lines for the moment. So we have this one that kind of runs up to there. This one that runs up to there. So, and then they'll eventually merge into one line. And I'm going to pick this line to be the merger line. So where do we merge? 11. Oh, 11 by 11. Okay, that was good. There we go. And then connect that in like that. Whether or not this is going to work, I don't know. But I'm hoping I've got enough slack against all of this for it to do its justice. But at the same time, I'll set up a junction restriction there so we're not getting clogged over by trains and stuff like that. So at this point here, if I created a bend, an 8 by 9, that's fine. We'll go with that. Connect that straight down. And I got to do the same thing here now, which is going to be quite awkward. A 10. Eight. What is that distance? 11 by 10. See, it could almost work. It could almost work. But we got to do it methodically. So up by 3. 6 by 6, which came up then to 8. To connect in. It's not perfect at all. It's not perfect at all. But if I place in junction restrictions on this... Oh, no, you can't. Wait, you can't. No, you got to do it like this, haven't we? So these guys are always giving way to the train traffic coming back and forth. So hopefully, if I also make them give way. So trains coming out of here have priority to exit, while trains coming in or exiting from that side have to wait. Just so I can make this junction consistently free and space for someone to pass by. It shouldn't cause too many backlogs, but I suppose you never know in this game. Now, I know I've got to move the train connection to over there. So that passenger line is coming down to go around to go in before it heads back in that direction. It goes all over the place, but we should have enough room for maneuver to see it through. Hold on, oh, hang on. I gotta now get that reconnected. There we go. So, with that done and dusted, right? With that now done and dusted, hopefully, he says, why have we now got issues with the hot water supply? How is it all of a sudden we've killed it off? Is it because of all of these? No, it's because these don't have power. And why don't these have power? What has all of a sudden happened for these guys not to have power? I don't exactly know what's happened. But we're going to have to connect up to the main supply anyway. Give them their power. Which should in return give us the hot water. And the rest of the city should then stop complaining. Which it now does. Good stuff. So this new train system we won't really see much of an effect of it until, you know, say 10-15 minutes of just simulating the town, the city or whatnot. All these people are now waiting. I'm so sorry. So sorry. That is cutting it very, very close, this. But for now, it's just the setup I just have to roll with, unfortunately. Until I spend a little bit more time in fixing it. I just want to get it to the point where it's functional. But it's all these junctions right now. You see the fact that that train waited? And that train's now waiting. And that one can turn in. And everyone can go and do what they've got to do. I'm hoping we have literally simplified it a lot more. That's what I'm hoping. And because this is hopefully going to be the shorter route, well, that's going to be the shorter route, the outer route, it's going to be pretty much the same as this over here. So we'll just see what happens. I suppose we just kind of see what happens as time goes on. Hopefully it works out in the long run. So I got to wait for the trains to kind of pass through a few times until that fully gets updated. Oh no, I'm missing that one as well, aren't I? There we go. My apologies, guys. My apologies right now. I didn't realise there was 2 stops. But there we go. Keep it simple. So this is interesting then. So the trains coming out have priority. And everyone coming in or exiting from that side has to wait. So that should get rid of that backlog that we've seen previously before. Well, that's what I think it would do anyway. That's what I think it would do. So how is the city doing now then with the fact that the commercial is slowly dying out so we can find a more natural kind of setting for the city? It ain't doing too bad. The, ooh, hot damn. We have traffic issues for days over here. I didn't even spot that. So it's good that that's happening because now the industrial area has enough buyers for the products, which is good for us. So now we have this little bit of an industrial crisis. And is it because of the warehouse? It could just be the initial traffic of trying to fill the warehouses up and export the goods. Because now the commercial's not complaining as much and now all these guys are able to sell the goods, we're now actually seeing the official demands from this area. Which is a little bit overwhelming. But that's not a problem though, because we could solve this, guys. We're all over this. We could do this right now. So we just got to find the general cause of it. I don't want to do it this episode, but we got to find the general cause of it, which looks like it's vehicles trying to just simply head out and whatnot. And it could be something, no, not as simple as there's traffic lights here, but they don't help. If I just turn them off so we get more of like a bit of a free flow, I could do all kinds of things here. I could drop a roundabout, do some asymmetrical turning lanes and stuff like that, just to keep the flows moving, get the vehicles out. Because it's an influx of vehicles trying to exit and also drive into the area. Drop a roundabout here and whatnot. There's lots of cool things that we could do, but I don't want to do that today because it was all about trying to solve the outer road traffic, which it seems to have done. Everything looks a little bit more free-flowy. No one's using this to kind of turn off to get in, which is cool to see. I think I'm impressed. Boys, I don't like what you're doing right now. You're solely meant to be for this. Until I set up the other version going that way. That's how it's meant to work. That's how it's meant to work. And then hopefully this train traffic is going to also settle down as well. And we have no issues around here anymore. That will be really, really cool to see. So I think the city is slowly coming back to life. Once all that commercial has disappeared, you see all the massive gaps in the downtown area. Once it's all gone, and then we start building up more industrial and residential demand, that commercial demand will come back. And because we've already got it kind of pre-zoned, I don't have to zone it. So for quite some time right now, we won't see any commercial demand. Any demand that does kind of peek its head up should automatically just get filled because we have the zoning already. Now, did I just spot we had an issue over here? Oh, yeah, we do. So the issue is... Ooh, okay, so we have quite a large backlog here at some point. So this is for vehicle or for trains. What's going on? Wait, do we just have like a rogue train that is stopped here? This rogue train that is stopped there is causing all of our issues. We don't have an issue. We just have that random train just stopped. Why are they stopping there? Is there a junction here or something? Are you okay, train? Were these the original trains that had a destination and I kind of got rid of the destination? Why are they all stopping here like this? Does the passenger train go through? What is going on? Right. Delete, delete. I don't know what that issue is right there. We have no traffic. It's not we have a traffic issue. That is not the case. I don't think I've done that right, have I? No. Let me delete all this. That is weird, isn't it? That is really weird. Right, I'm going to bring this down then. And then back up. So, the trains should then flow. I don't know what the issue was. They are now flowing through. We didn't have any traffic. It's just that they randomly decided to stop there, which has caused a huge backlog. So that is not because I got train traffic. No, 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 no. It's because that random train was standing still. And now they'll slowly start moving, as you can now see. And we'll all get flowing back to normal, guys. Appreciate your concern, but there was a random train driver that went on strike. That's weird, isn't it? Which now as that additional train traffic comes through, it should put this to the test, which will be really exciting to see. But guys, we're going to end it for here anyway then. I think the majority of the commercial, apart from a little bit over here and a little bit over there, has now kind of completely died out, so we're at a more natural stage within the city's progression. Just me getting rid of those traffic lights there has kind of eased this a little bit more. But we still have little places that we kind of need to sort out. It's quite cool to see that now the industrial area is utilising stuff like the cargo airport and filling up the warehouses a whole lot more too. So we're getting a more natural feel for the city rather than just injecting steroids into it with a super demand mod, which is a bit crazy, isn't it? It really is. Which then shows you the importance of the cargo line. So maybe we do got to start thinking about that additional line that kind of comes over. Maybe now that we got these junctions set up, it can handle train traffic passing over from here and connect up to this line that kind of tears through. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure just yet. We'll just see how it all ticks along. But that backlog train traffic is now, well, now cleared. It's just doing the last few little bits and bobs here and there that will allow it to pass through. And before you know it, boys, we are back to normal. Hope you guys did enjoy this little episode right now, refixing a few of these little issues. Still got many issues lying about right now, but we can slowly tackle them one by one. We'll probably look at this next episode as well. Getting this all sorted, adding in some more additional exploitation areas, and just finalising things. We can drop in a couple of roundabouts because, you know, this roundabout is working so good right now. And I really do want to think about this crossing, because we can do a road that goes underneath, and I got to bring it out somewhere. Not 100% still sure where yet. Probably be around about here, and it's literally be a junction that goes underground. It'll be a huge tunnel that tears through an additional crossing, because I don't feel like leading over here and putting so much traffic on these roads would work that much. I don't think it would. And then also having a train crossing that could just simply link up to something over here, which can then pass it all through. Now that we're getting more train demand on this line here, you see they're all patiently waiting, but that I don't mind that, because they all wait their turn. They all wait their turn for who's next and who can, you know, go next. It's all moving. There's no jams. It's not a jam where it's literally like how we had earlier when that random train driver went on strike. They can all slowly move. So as time goes on, there'll be less train traffic because we move that big bulk of traffic at first. And I think the majority of it right now is actually passenger trains. Which we have how many trains do we have on this singular loop? I know we got so many people on this loop. Passenger train. Oh no, you're an intercity train, aren't you? Oh, that's a point. Hang on, what mode am I now in? Get rid of intercity trains. Line details for this. There's 13 trains on this. We don't really have that demand. So I'm going to bring it down to 4 trains. Thus eliminating the amount of passenger trains on this line, which we don't need. We don't fully need. So that's going to... No wonder we had a backlog here. We had so many freaking unnecessary passenger trains. But they'll all come in, they'll all go out and slowly just kind of get rid, and this junction will clear itself because that's what it's pretty much set up to pretty much do. So trains come out, trains go in, moves along, everyone takes their turn to go in the direction that they need to go. I think we can class that as a success. I think we can. So I'm excited for the next couple of episodes then, guys. Hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.